Hi, everybody. Welcome to Murder Monday Madness. Yeah, pretty much is madness. In the quiet corners of early 20th century, a killer, a charming smile, and a trial of dead husbands and relatives quietly operated for years. Her name was Lyda Southard, but the history remember her as the Lady Bluebeard. Her weapon of choice wasn't a knife or a pew-pew, but an undetectable poison extracted from an unlikely source. Her motive was simple: cold-blooded money. And today I just had to dress the part. You know, when I think of morbid, I think of black. Singing black. That's the one thing that connects the desperate housewives to insurance fraud. For years and years and years, there were murders again and again and again. People back in those days died of diseases and sickness all the time. So, were there a lot of murders back then? Probably. This went uncaught. There were husbands after husbands, and this went undetected for years and years and years. And they couldn't figure out, what did she do? What in the world is she doing where she is marrying all these husbands? And yet, they're all dying. Now, this was the turn of the century. There were so many deaths back then. Even like the common cold could actually kill you. In 1912, Lyda married her first husband, Robert Dooley. And in 1915, 2 months later, he was already dead. Oh my goodness, Thomas! Tommy. Then, in quick succession, was 3 more husbands. What was Lyda doing to get all these husbands? What? What is she doing? I mean, okay, I'm not going to answer that because she must have been one smooth talker, or something else was going on. Her first husband was Robert Dooley, died shortly after his brother Edward, and then in quick succession, 3 more husbands. Wow, 3 more husbands, seriously, wow. We had William, McCaffell, Harlan Lewis, and Edward Meyer, all perished under suspicious circumstances. By the time her fourth husband, Edward Meyer, died in 1920, so this is like 4 husbands later, we only had like what, less than 5 years in between there? Whoa, that's a lot of husbands. That's a lot. I mean, how did she not call them by the wrong name? I don't know. The insurance company was very suspicious because she was taking out insurance claims and life insurance policies left and right, and left and right, and left and right. And they were getting so suspicious of what is going on here. This is not normal to have that many husbands just kill over and die. Come on now. But it was Meyer's death that really tipped the scales. He died within a month of marriage. Whoa, like that's not suspicious. After you take out an insurance policy and a couple of days later he croaks. I mean, you couldn't even wait like 40 days. The insurance company, they demanded that there be an autopsy on him. They demanded it. They knew something could not be right. There is something a little bit fishy going on in Lyda's world. It's a strange world and everybody's popping up dead. So they were right. An autopsy was performed and he was poisoned. But by what? What was he poisoned by? What could it possibly be? They weren't for sure what it was. They couldn't, what was it? And then they found out it was arsenic. She had been poisoning these men with arsenic. Oh, I think I need a drink. A determined chemist named Earl Dooley, a relative of her first husband, began to investigate. He tested the soil, the ranch where several of the victims died, and found traces of arsenic everywhere. There was arsenic here, there was arsenic there. Even where one husband was standing, there was arsenic. What? They soon unearthed her malicious world she was living in. Woo! This world she was living in. I worked with Alita, and she was really, really nice. And I assume that she was a really nice lady, like a real good, sweet talker. Mrs. Lyda Southard is a woman of innocent face. She has twinkling eyes, a harmless-looking nose, and a small, ample mouth. She is still comparatively young. She has lots of curly, dark hair. She is obviously not blessed with too much brains. Mrs. Southard does not look like a Bluebeard, yet those twinkling eyes wept a little at the funeral of one husband after another. Beneath the dark curls were hatched plans to get rid of each mate, collect the insurance, and acquire a new one. And hence is where the lack of brains comes in. She didn't cover her tracks, yet because this woman had an innocent face, justice just did not catch up with her till the list of victims had grown to 6. A manhunt ensued. They were looking for her. They knew that she had poisoned these men with arsenic. There was arsenic all over the place. A manhunt ensued. And guess where she was? Well, I guess she was living in a place where most people would love to live. She was living in Hawaii, just soaking up the sun on the beach, having a good old time with all that money. She was now married to her 5th husband. I think this was like 5 in 5 years. What? And they picked her up. Investigators found her on this beautiful island of Hawaii, picked her up, and drove her back to Idaho. You're going back home, lady, where you committed all these murders. And in 1921, she was convicted of murder. It's about time! My goodness, they're all popping up dead. It took that long? But her story does not end there. And here comes Tommy. Tommy's trying to get on camera again. Then in 1931, so about 10 years later, Lyda is still in prison where she belongs, thank goodness. And all these men can sleep safe and sound. And because Lyda, she must have been like really hard to pass up. She should have wrote a book on how to get a man because it certainly worked. In 1931, she staged a prison outbreak. That's right. I mean, of course she's going to escape. She offed all these men. Why would she not try to escape? Now, come on. She's like a con artist. my goodness. And for 15 months. 10 and another. That's like over a year. She could have killed like 2 more husbands by now. Ah! She escaped for 15 months. They were looking for her. And of course she married another husband while she was on the run. I mean, what do you expect? And thank goodness they were onto her. They were probably scared there'd be 5 more victims on the line. But they found her, they captured her, and they were bringing her back. They sent her right back to prison where she belongs. I wonder if that last husband even knew about all this. I mean, oh my goodness, that's so terrifying. Oh, that's terrifying. Thank goodness we have Facebook these days, right? Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. And Lyda was released on parole in another 10 more years. 1941. So for all those murders and an escape from prison, looking for a year she got off, and then she did what? So basically what, 9 years she got for, oh my word. And in 1943 she was fully pardoned to go do whatever she wanted all over again. Now Lyda Southard died in 1968. Whew. All of you men can just relax. She's dead, okay? She's dead. And she ain't coming back this time. And you know what ended up being the factor that killed all of these poor men? Think about it. You know, arsenic. How do you get arsenic on to your husband? Well, you know, I would have thought that maybe they take a little. I would have thought maybe they take a little sip. You know. But no, she didn't do that because she probably thought they would test that. Maybe the first thing they would test. It wasn't the drink, it wasn't the food. Guess what it was? I mean, did they not have screens in the turn of the century? Maybe not. So she put it on some fly paper. You know, that stuff that you can find? Ace Hardware? Fly paper. These men were dying from fly paper. So weird. So, I mean, she was pretty smart, and she must have been a really good, kind to the men con artist because they really liked her. She was known as the fly paper killer to poison her way all the way into wealth. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little morbid Monday murder scary tale. Now try to say that 3 times. I can't even say it once. Morbid murder Monday. Woo! Okay, well, that's our spooky story for October. Woo! That would be scary. So scary. Okay, boys, watch out who you date, because you never know. You might just end up on Murder Monday. So all you boys, be careful for those ladies out there. Have a good day. Bye.